Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Look what's back in the shop. Some things went wrong with this thing and I don't know exactly what's wrong with it, so let's go find out. Well guys, the ultimate Highboy build is back in the shop. Sadly it's not running right now and haven't figured out why yet. I have tracked it down a little bit, but I guess you haven't seen this thing very much in the channel lately. If you don't know what this is, go back and look. I have a playlist I'll have at the top of the screen here. Ultimate Highboy build series I called it. We did that last fall. I'll link the playlist in the description as well so you guys can find that. But we built this thing pretty much all of 2020. I started on it about this time last year. I started doing the chassis and suspension and everything, but you guys can catch up on that if you want to see the build series if you haven't already. But here in Oklahoma we had a Arctic weather. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, there's still a bunch of snow out there. And it got really cold. And we got some snow, some drifting snow, so I got this thing out and was using it to get through the drifts and get here and feed cattle and everything. So we had this thing out and it was getting pretty cold. Out here we're in a bunch of cow country, so there's a bunch of ranchers and everything, and the diesel feed trucks were gelling up, and I was using this thing to drive around, and I had to ungel a few feed trucks, and everything was fine. The truck was getting around great, you know, EFI was working and everything, and I drove it home that night, and the next morning it was about -19, and it wouldn't start for me. So ever since then I haven't been able to get it to run, so I don't know what happened. And I've been talking with Edelbrock, and they're at the point where they want me to pull the distributor, wiring harness, and computer and send it to California, and they said it could take up to 3 months, sorry, 3 months to get it back. So I'm going to do a little more work on it and see if I can figure out what's wrong. Let me show you guys what's going on with it. Got my tablet here for the ECU, and the main thing I've noticed that is concerning would be the RPM seems to jump around a lot, and that's Edelbrock's concern as well, that something with the Hall effect sensor and the distributor is causing problems. See if I can get it to do it here. It's not. There we go. See how it's jumping around a lot. Battery seems to be pretty low too. But the RPM is jumping to 0 to 100 to 0 to 400. So it's I think it's getting an inconsistent reading there. I've already checked there. It's got a 5-volt reference. Or supply voltage. I've already checked that. Next I'm going to check the ground, make sure the ground, that sensor is working, and then I'm going to rotate the engine and check the signal voltage. It should be a 0 and 5 volt signal whenever it there's a little I'll take the distributor off and show you guys, but yeah, we're not getting anything out of the. Every now and then it'll try to fire, but it's got fuel, so it's getting fuel in the intake, so it's erratic spark is the main problem here. So I'm going to take the crossover bar off so I can get the distributor a little better and get that all apart where I can I can test that Hall effect sensor in there. So that's basically how the ECM knows that the engine's turning and what RPM it's turning at, and basically everything it needs to know to fire the injectors and everything. So without that, it doesn't run. So that's where we're at right now, and yeah, I guess I'll dig into it and see if I find anything. So here we are. I got the distributor cap off and the rotor off, and you can kind of see the tone ring around here. And it has these metal tabs, and then right here's the sensor. And whenever one of those metal tabs passes the sensor, it sends a signal through I think it's this wire here, this green one, to the computer, telling it that it's spinning and how fast and what position it's in and everything. So this wire right here is 5-volt feeding the sensor. This one is ground, and this one is the signal wire. And like I said earlier, I've already tested this the feed, and I have to test the ground. I haven't done that. I'll test the ground, and then I'll rotate the engine over and see if I'm getting varying 5 volts, 0 volt on this wire here. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be foolproof, telling me something's wrong or everything's working here, because that RPM signal is very intermittent. It jumps around a lot. So it's probably like 60-40, maybe 70-30, and it works like 70% of the time, and then 30% of the time it's reading a false reading or one that wouldn't be correct for what the engine's doing. So me just spinning this over slower, it might all work correctly going slow. That I'm not sure yet, so we have to figure that out with testing that sensor there and see if I can find something that is for sure wrong, and then I'm like, well, that's for sure not working right, so I need to send it back. Or if I can figure something out that I can fix, then we don't have to wait the 3 months potentially to get all this stuff back. So that's my goal today, so we'll get after it. Before I leave this area right here, some of you guys might notice there's a oil leak right here. It's coming off the China wall, as they call it, on the intake right here. It's leaking on the back as well. I didn't quite get enough silicone right there, so I have a few oil leaks right there, and I think that's where my oil consumption went. If you look a few episodes back, I kind of gave an update of all the projects. Talked about an oil leak on this thing, or oil consumption. It was using oil, or the dipstick was showing low, and I could never see it smoking any, and I don't think it's burning any, and I think it's all just leaking out here. But my plans for this truck before it started giving me problems here with the distributor is I have a set of Pro Max aluminum heads ordered, and I was going to pull the heads off of this truck and put those aluminum heads on it, and these heads were going to go on my 72 Camper Special along with some other stuff. But those heads, I haven't got them yet. I ordered them about a couple weeks ago, and I called today, and they are 2 weeks out. So if I have to send this stuff off, I'm probably going to go ahead and start pulling the heads off of this thing and get it ready for the head swap, because this truck is about 10-to-1 compression, maybe a little bit higher, and it likes premium fuel. And the heads I got have a bigger combustion chamber, and they will lower the compression down to 9.5. So probably be able to run regular gas with this thing, maybe turn the timing down a little bit, and make it a little bit happier. And fuel's getting more expensive, so it's going to be nice to be able to run some cheaper gas in this thing. Plus the aluminum heads flow better and probably make a little more power. So, and I'll be able to fix those oil leaks because I got to pull the intake off. So that's the plan with this thing. If I do have to send this stuff off, we'll be doing that stuff a little bit sooner. So we'll see that on here as well. Here's the other things we're doing to the 72 camper special. Got a GT390 4-barrel Ford intake here, cast iron, cheaped out, didn't get the aluminum one, so this thing is like 80 pounds, but it should work good for what this truck is. I got a 4160 Holly to put on it, 600 CFM for that 390, and I'm also putting a Comp Cam's camshaft in it, just a mild street cam, and new timing chain and all that stuff, because the timing chain's probably got the nylon tiling chain that likes to wear out on those things. So it's nice to have a new timing chain, and the 4-barrel intake's going to help that truck out a lot, and will improve the drivability. But I want to get this thing going first because I have to use the heads off of this thing for this truck, or for this project. So I wanted to do this one first, then I'll have those heads at the machine shop getting the valve springs and everything swapped over. So this one's the goal for now, is to get this one going. But if we get to a situation where I'm waiting on parts, I'll be able to pull these heads off and get them ready for that 72, and we might be doing that one before this one if we're still waiting on the distributor and stuff to get back. So I'm gonna go get after testing that sensor and see if I can get any readings off of that and get a little farther along and see if I can figure out what's going on here. Okay, if you can see what's happening here it's saying 4.9 volts. That sensor I was talking about is lined up with one of these tabs, and as I turn the engine over, there, it should be in between them. Yeah, now it's reading 0.3 volts. So it seems to be working. And you can also hear a audible click out of the system when I get it lined up. Right there it clicked, and we're at 4.9 volts. So that sensor seems to be working, at least turning it over this slow. It seems to be working. I don't know if something's getting interference whenever it's going faster. But so far I have not found anything wrong yet, so I guess I'll keep digging. I'm doing a little more digging here on this truck here. I have the tuning software for the US Shift transmission controller pulled up here, and I thought this would give me a little more information because it pulls its tach reading off of the output from the PCM, and I thought I would check the reading this thing's getting and see what it's doing compared to the reading on the ECU controller, and see if it's any different. And I'm not getting any reading on this. Here, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it here, if I can get it close enough. Right there is engine RPM. I'll go ahead and crank it. It's not reading anything, so I don't really know if that's normal or if something's wrong there. I don't, because I never really looked at this before. I don't know if that starts reading once it fires or what's going on there. The input RPM right here, it changes, but it's only about half of the value the crankshaft is really spinning. It's saying about 50 to 60, and we're spinning about 120 RPM while we're cranking. So I don't know what exactly is going on. I did double check the RPM on the engine. I had the cap off and I counted the revolutions of the rotor, multiplied by 2, and converted it to RPM, and it's spinning about 120 RPM. So I don't know why the input RPM on this is half, because input should be the crankshaft speed, unless well, I just thought of the reason. It's because it's torque converter. I just looked up to the torque converter, and the torque converter's spinning, and it's spinning that shaft a little slower. So I'm guessing that's why the input RPM is half. So I guess that answers my own question. But anyway, I don't know why this one's not reading the engine RPM. So I don't know if that tach signal's not getting through the PCM and coming out. My tach right here, it doesn't read anything either. So they're both hooked up to the same output on the PCM. So right now I'm kind of at a standstill with it. I don't know. I don't have any more ideas, and it's the weekend right now, so Edelbrock's closed. I'm going to try calling them in the morning and see if tomorrow morning and see if they have any more ideas for me. If not, I'm going to be sending this stuff off so they can check it and see if they can find something wrong. Right now I'm thinking maybe the PCM, something in the PCM failed with those extreme temperatures is the only thing I can think of, because I tested the distributor, it works, and I didn't test the wiring harness, but I don't see anything wrong with what would be wrong with the wiring harness, and I don't know. So guys, since I'm running out of ideas, I think I'm going to end the video here. If I do find out anything, I'll be sure and let you guys know in the next video. Be keeping you in touch of what's going on with this truck as I progress with its repair. But right now, I think we might be at the point where I have to send stuff off, so there won't be much more to show you. But if you guys have any ideas, if you've dealt with EFI before, had a problem like this before with extreme cold, when the truck got really cold, it just quit working, let me know in the comments below. Give me some ideas, something I can check before I get this thing sent off. That'd be real helpful, because the wait time of 3 months really doesn't sound appealing to me. But if we got to do it, we got to do it. So until next time, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and see you guys in the next one. Thanks.